Hello, I am Chylli from channel Chylli, also known as Chai, back with more Limbus Company Twinning Threads Intervalo. Last time we got through the introduction of this level, so we will be skipping straight to the fight. Well, at least we outnumber them. Seems like we won every single flash there, which is really nice. All of these combats so far seem to be really easy, honestly. That is really annoying. I forgot to borrow the event unit.
숨이 먹기 전에 하나만 말해주세요. 당신의 눈에는 저의 갤러리.
저 살점을 찢으면 더 붉게 칠해지겠지.
Oh well, we only lost like a minute there, it's fine.
ンバスカンパニーの皆さんとご一緒できて本当に嬉しいです。サンタさんの作戦とても効果的でした。
ブレイクスラム。ナイスジャズ投げ。
向こうにも事情があるのでしょう。ですが私たちは止まれません。
가족을 위해.
ドクターのように優れた式ですね。
엎드리도록. 나이스 짜증나게. 가만히 남았어도 이 정도쯤은.
囚人の皆さんの状態に何か変化が。 エリートオペレーター並みの腕前です。
벗어날 수 있다. 보여드려야겠군요. 왜냐면 예술을.
敵は深手を負っています。
내가 어버이보다 뛰어났지. 가족을 위해. 아이씨, 짜증나게. 따뜻하다. 저의 뼈를 금잡고
한번에 나쁘지 않아요.敵は深手を負っています。
전부
내가
녹여서
어버이보다
썰어버려도 상관없지.
산초류 경혈 온 라샹그르 쏟아내
항상 저희 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요. 저희 뼈로 이제야 친해졌네요.
And there we go, real easy.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지 작품을 뜻하죠.
Alrighty, and we are halfway there now.
지금 제 작품이 만인의 심금을 울리지는 못하더라도 여전히 반지에 부끄럽지 않은 작품을 선보이고 있는 것 같네요.
Okay, and that about wraps up the middle corridor. Thanks to you folks, we managed to cut the door cataloging workload by 80%. I really appreciate everyone going the extra mile to check each and every door too. Made my life a whole lot easier. Thanks to the manager's excellent strategization. Next up is the Thumbs corridor, but we actually found a lot of intel lying around there, so we just have to check some of the doors in its basement. Intel? The manager expresses interest in the aforementioned intel. That, in the Thumbs corridor, we came across a bundle of papers detailing the comings and goings of the Thumbs members and the orders they were carrying. Whoever wrote the logs has been diligently keeping them updated. The last entry was written not so long ago. While the contents of the notes weren't all that interesting, they helped us get an idea of where each door in the corridor leads to. Found Sheena's shitty scrap papers. She's been keeping up with that useless shit this whole time. Useless shit? Remnants of her desperate search for a thread to cling to. You found one of her backup ticket hoards. I've marked any doors that need work with a drown. There should be about 3 or 4 of them. While you guys do that, I've got some leftover work to take care of over here, so... I've been noticing this throughout our interactions, but whenever anything irrelevant to his work comes up, Alan seems to have a way of unhearing and manufacturing right past it, as though he didn't even register what was said. Recalling our conversation with Cesaro back at P-Corp, that deeply uncurious indifference might just be the essential personality traits to go on as a corporate employee in the city. Understood. We will explore the areas past the marked doors and return here. Thanks a ton. Well then. While Ellen's returning to where the other Wayfarer Company employees were huddled around, we decided to follow the corridor to the left. Hey, there's someone in there. More of the ring, maybe. Going by their silhouettes, they're unlikely to be members of the ring. Come on, lady, get out of my way so I can see. It's the detective, some stubbly guy I don't know, and that annoying Airy dude. Sounds like Moses, Gregor, and Hong Lu, respectively. The trio's conversation grew clearer the closer I approached them. You okay, fella? You bumped your head earlier. Fine as a fiddle. It was just a minor fall. This is the 3rd time it's occurred. We ought to have discussed this issue with the manager once this consultation is over. I think I'm seeing a bump on the side of Hong Li's head. Anyway, you know what to do, right? If at any moment you see signs of... Don't worry, Gregor. You made it through the explanation and the footage both. You're going to be fine again. I believe in you. Look at you now. We're right here where it happened, but your arm is stable, see? Ironically, fear tends to grow more unmitigated when it is distant and unseen. I understand what you might be worried about, but I don't see even the earliest importance of it. I don't know what that word means. So don't hesitate to share the unfiltered thoughts that arise while you're in here. I don't know what I saw in the footage, but I'm still having a hard time believing it. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just avoiding the truth when it's staring me right in the face. My case is nothing like Don Quixote's. She just needs to keep her shoes on and it's all good and dandy for her, isn't it? Things don't work out that way, for me. Whatever they're talking about sounds hella deep, guys. You sure about eavesdropping on him like this? The geezer's always weirdly cagey about himself. Maybe now it's our chance to learn more about him. He's sharing such an yes about himself for once. Why walk away? Don Quixote gives a nonsensical interpretation of Ryoshu's acronym as Kira rolls her eyes out of exacerbation. Between the bickering sinners and Kira, however, Oda stands in silence with an inscrutable look on her face. She is listening to the exchange between Moses and Gregor like a woman possessed. Okay, let's keep listening then. Otis was right, damn it. She was right all along. The war isn't over, and never was. And it can't ever be over as long as this fucking joke of a gift stays attached to my arm. Barbed words. Now let's revisit a question you couldn't answer while the footage was playing. Hopefully it's become easier to answer now. You've been using that arm to fight just fine so far. How? I don't mind fighting hostiles or enemies. I'm not the kind of person who worries about people trying to kill me. But killing my comrades, that's what changes things, isn't it? I can't even control it. There's nothing I can do to even brace for it. It's unstoppable. Like some kind of time bomb counting down to unleash a disease you never know when its symptoms will set off. Even Heathcliff, who was always the first to step up when people began to spiral into self-hatred, stood in conflicted silence, his lips drawing a hard straight line. Besides, Gregor wasn't wrong in that. At present, there wasn't any way to stop his transformation should it occur again. We still got a good chunk of the journey left, and eventually we'll have to... No matter what lurks in the past of us sinners, even if they've killed hundreds, thousands, no, tens of thousands of innocent people, will you still embrace them? You eventually have to confront an even darker, bleaker truth of the war. Can I really trust Gregor not to crumble under that inevitable pressure? I see, you're afraid you'll end up hurting us. Well, that's... At first I thought I couldn't give a hoot whether or not I accidentally murdered some of you. It's a bit saddening to hear that. You know how it is, Honglu. We, the bus team, didn't exactly get off on a rocking good start. But through our journey, I've begun to think of you all as my comrades, and I was okay with that because I had too much faith in my own weakness. When I realized I'd grown so weak that I couldn't even take down some backstreet thug with this arm, I was relieved. Imagine that, the same arm, my arm, a weapon that stabbed the heart out of countless people during the Smoke War. I'll be honest, when that Hohenheim fella said that I was an exception, the thought alone made me hope. Exception, a potential to be harmless, weaker than even a non-combatant like Yi Song. It made me hope for a life that didn't sound so bad. We all know how that went though, don't we? Blew up in the worst way possible. And after all that, I just couldn't bring myself to fight again. Because I no longer know when this fear would eat me up again. Because I'm constantly afraid of this damn gift manifesting again. The same fear you've carried all this time. How did you endure it before? Badly, barely, holding on to an idea that the living's gotta live on and nothing else. This really brings me back years. The memories are so clear that it's like they all happened yesterday. Best you kick me off the bus before push comes to... That can't be the answer, Gregor. You can walk away, but the danger of our journey won't leave with you. Dante and the rest of us will still be facing an endless repeat of peril. And it's not like leaving the bus will bring peace to your heart. Our deaths can be reversed should an accident occur. Even if it comes at the cost of Dante's suffering, the same cannot be said for most people in the city. Now that's not something I ever expected to hear from you. I guess you're right. If we're seeing this through to any kind of end, this would be the place to do so. Not many places in the city have some warmth to them like this one does. Boy, this consultation thing's pretty embarrassing. I mean, it's not like I was forced to go through something as traumatizing as yours, Honglu. Truth be told, I'm not some special case. Everyone who participated in that war must have gone through more or less the same experience. Miss Moses, Sodas, and even Valentina, that piece of work. We can't attach a number to our misfortunes as if there's something to be measured. When I fled from my past, I tried my hardest to avert my eyes from it, but you, Gregor, you're not like me. Every few steps that distance you from the past, you'd come to pause to spare a look toward the path you'd walked. All those years I let slip by, all those that slipped you by, were dotted with fathoms of suffering that are both ineffable and beyond measure. Different experiences, different pain. So if there's one thing common to everyone, it's that trauma leaves after effects that linger for a long time. What are yours? I dislike loud noises and people who talk too much. They sound too much like the cacophony of the war, like screaming comrades who resented me even as they lay dying. And the wounds they left in my heart bled me dry. But I thought you were fond of Miss Ezra, Miss Moses. I've talked too much. That aside, I mean, you heard your fill. Might as well come out from that corner you're hiding in. Aw man, they knew we've been eavesdropping the whole time. I was actually waiting for the right moment to come out and say a few words, but I couldn't find an appropriate moment to... Well, I would have had to share this with Manager Bud and the rest of you fellas sooner or later, so I don't really mind, but... What's she doing here? EA. Temporary ally? No, temporary... accompaniment. Don't be an asshole, I'm working my ass off to help you guys. Pleased to make your acquaintance. You're right on time. I've been working on a theory, but I don't have all the clues to be absolutely certain. A word from someone in the know may immensely improve my confidence in the theory. Kira, do you know which door the Thumb's nurse father was most attached to? No, duh. Duh, that's supposed to be obvious? Did you guys all see her? You think I'd just chat up a scary lady like that? Dude, she was beating the ever-loving shit out of Lucio every time I saw them together. Oh yeah, he went down fighting you guys in the end. Yeah, enough said about her generosity and all that, and fought till he died. Damn, that's unexpected. Being real for a second here, I thought he was totally going to swap sides. Really, that lad? And why's that? You know, the vibes. You guys don't know because you hadn't seen him long without the scary lady always looming over him. What's up, gonna stab her right in the spine? You... Look, I think you might be training wrong, cause, like, you're not improving as much as you should from all that grind. Let me show you what I learned about sword swings from this comic book. That is not how my master has instructed me. The textbook cannot be permitted to have even a single deviation if it means to repay the debt it owes her. Why are you so obsessed with all that crap anyway? You don't even like that old lady. You're not so different from me in that regard, are you? Bro, what the heck are you talking about? I love my papa. Seriously, I thought things were gonna crash and burn before Yoshihide even came home. But his textbook and I had that in common. If this one doesn't know, let me redirect the question toward you, Senator Ryoshu. Hopefully this touches upon one of your more intact memories. Do you know which of these doors the Thumb Nurse Father showed particular attachment to? Or the door she used most often? Why ask me? Fine, yes, I do remember. Don't even need Claw Self to piece it back together. It's that one. The door with metal pieces dangling from it. Holy shit, I almost died out there. Son of a bitch, a fucking fly. Where did those G-Corp fucks even drag that gross past from? Mom, are you okay? Do I look okay to you, Ticket? No, not really. I'm fine. You know I don't break easy. You should have been there to see me tear the head off that G-Corp vermin, Ticket. But Mom, your leg's bleeding a lot. Here comes another mission. Boy, they really can't do shit without me, huh? So much for a break. The fuck is this? Bandages for you. Is this kid serious? They've got truckloads of expensive treatments on... on the ready to patch me up the moment I get back to the well, okay, never mind that. Hey, this works. Mom? Sit tight and don't start any trouble. I'll teach you some sword techniques once I'm back. Must have been her years in the smoke war. Yeah, fighting in the war took a lot out of her and left her perpetually exhausted. But she marched to every battle with a smile, stopped drinking, stopped beating me too. Like a blissful idiot who forgot she was still neck-deep in the inescapable pit called the House of Spiders. Well, the ironic piece didn't last. Sometime after the war ended, someone she called the Consigliere of the Thumb visited the House of Spiders as a tutor. And that's when she went right back to drinking herself into a shit-faced stupor, day after day. The beatings returned, and so did the edge in her profanities. It was pathetic. Hold on, why though? Sure, I was on the losing side, but wasn't Valencina on the winning side? A war hero at that. Ever heard of the regulation that prevents Smoke War participants from moving into I-Corp and K-Corp nests? The common thread between those post-war rules is that they make the lives of the veterans difficult. Dubious rules that don't discriminate between winners and losers. I see, there must have been things going on behind the scenes there too. But doesn't that mean that Backdoor will drop us in a trench they dug during the war? Yes, and Gregor will be the one to open it. Wait, me? Yes, others can do it for you, but what would be the point? You sure this won't just end up giving him more nightmares? I don't see how this helps him in any way. We don't have any means to treat whatever it is that slumbers within his arm. However, I would surmise that the underlying cause of the sudden transformation wasn't the arm itself. Then what? It's trauma. His arm took control after his psyche was crushed by the weight of the unspeakable memories coming back to haunt him. It's not because the arm went berserk that he started reliving his painful past, it's the other way around, isn't that so? If you can come to understand that the war is really over, and that what others say, no matter how closely they echo to the past, it's not necessarily aimed at you, then you may be able to loosen your grip on the fear and anxiety that your arm could metamorphose at any moment. While her suggestion may seem blunt, it is one of the basic treatment principles of MCorp's psychotherapy centers. Jeez. Fine then, guess I'll open it up. Rayer walked up to the door, grabbed its handle, then paused, taking slow, deep breaths. And with one arm, he gently opened the door. Why are you running? You should be taking the lead on the front lines with our G-Corp banner held high. I don't want to die. It's nice to have a place to go back to. Oh right, happy 15th birthday. But you can't possibly have the cheek to call me cruel. You G-Corp pasts are far more messed up than I ever was. Ripping people apart, cannibalizing them. You were nothing but a swarm of fucked up monsters. I thought I'd woken up from the dream, but I was still...
살아서 돌아갈 수만 있다면 무엇이든.
시선, 집중.
내가
드디어 내 차례냐?
부름.
나를 점 찍었다면 격에 맞는 조언도 함께 준비하도록.
이거 참 설레는구려.
This place. It's just a boring old office. I was kind of ready to be shook, thinking we were about to walk into a war zone or something. You recognize this place? Of course I do. My last job before Limbus Company, and my desk was over there. Here's a tip, fellas. When you're working in an office like this, always get a corner desk facing the wall if you can help it. Lest you hide from the boss man. Out of sight, out of mind, you know. You can do whatever you want that way. work, chill, or even freak out in terror at the slightest sound of metal clinking. Nobody will catch you. Nobody will think you're a bother to other people. Gregor grins, a bitter, mocking smile directed at himself. The only downside of the desk arrangement being people walking up behind me get my attention. Higher-ups just had to holler, "Hey, that higher," and I'd scuttle right up to them, but others can't do that. So whenever people walked up to me from behind, I'd get afraid I might cause an accident. That hire must be about the post-war veteran special employment. Right, but I couldn't possibly complain. Wouldn't have gotten the job without it, you know. Not everyone was lucky enough to be considered for that. I was better off than most. Gregor? Head manager, Ted. Gregor whipped around, his hand instinctively leaping to his other arm. There was an unfamiliar man in a clean suit standing behind us. It really is you, Gregor. And I see some new faces with you. Wait, you folks must be on the account of the guys of the other team asked us to leave the meeting room open for. Landed a new job. I see you've got a new employee card right there. So, how have you been doing? Me? Same old, well enough. It's not like I've got anywhere else to go, right? I'm not surprised you found a new work so soon. You were always a dependable guy. Is the pay good? How's life, man? Oh yeah, you were gonna sell that commemorative coin, some kind of medal, right? Hope you got good money for that. Look at me, asking how's life to a fellow citizen. Can't imagine anybody would have anything good to say about that. Moving on. Hope no one's hounding you with that higher shit over there. No, not at all. There's none of that here. That's good to hear, man. Glad you didn't have to deal with that dang jackass of an ex-VP messing with you like he was a war veteran himself. You know how many years I had to hear that geezer bragging about how he profiteered from the war, pulling himself up by his bootstraps about how in every peril is an opportunity waiting to be found. Blah, blah, blah. I'm preaching to the choir, aren't I? That guy, is he still taking his sauna breaks during work hours? What do you think? His seat misses his ass every day. And get this, remember how we used to call you special employment fellas Nepo Force? A few days ago, his name showed up in an HR report. Guess what it said? Turns out he was lining his pockets with kickbacks when we were choosing the fixer office for a partnership project. There's about to be a vacancy in the office real soon. Really, isn't he, you know, an actual Nepo? Thought he's the president's family. Yeah, man, it's that bad. It's what everyone ever talks about by the water cooler. If there's anything I learned here, it's that people obsessed with back in my days are all kinda like him. They hate how their glory days are behind them. Kinda like a distraction from how pathetic they are now. And hey, a backstreets kid like myself don't have glory days to look back on and yearn for, right? I look back and it's all doom and gloom. You know, if you ever hit rock bottom, you also know the only way left to go is up. You said something like that before, yeah. Yeah, I guess it's my own brand of bullshit philosophy. Oh boy, look at me running my mouth in front of our customers. Sorry about that, folks. Don't worry about it. That's a pretty unique prosthesis you got there. No worries, but it seemed like you were on your way to submit those proposals. Gee golly, I'm late. Thank you for snapping me out of it. I'm gonna get one heck of a scolding. Anyway, Gregor, hit me up sometime. Let's go out and catch up over a drink or something. Sure, if I get the chance. The man who seemed like Gregor's former co-worker hurried away, but he didn't forget to wave us a good-natured goodbye. I can see a little bit of him in the way you talk, Gregor. Come on, I don't sound as old as he does, do I? Moses, who'd been quietly observing as Gregor and his former co-worker chatted, exhaled a light stream of smoke and slowly began to speak. Many of us who returned from the war seemed to suffer from a certain misconception. When we were told to remember, it does not mean we are bidden to live through the nightmare of the past over and over again. We are not being cursed to relive the pain and suffer in it. Both Ezra and I, we were both still trying to be free of the misconception we inflicted on ourselves. It's not like I remember because I want to. Well, if you can't bring yourself to forget them, might as well include in your memory the fact that the war has indeed ended. Fine, you're not wrong there. Rager stared at his right arm for a while, quietly contemplating. Manager bud, can't say I can give you any reassurance, but just going on with my life seems to be the best answer for now. I want to ask if you're okay with that, though. I'll manage, but it's you who is going to have to deal with the aftermath. Rager would always say the same to those suffering from the cruelty inherent in living. Still, live on, just live on. Yet even as his lips spoke those words, his eyes would take on a desperate and unfocused look shaded beneath despair. Today, though, today of the gloomy gray seemed to give way to just a hint at the blue sky beyond. This may be no more than a single ray of sun peering through the dark clouds that have long suffocated the sky. It would probably take much more than this for the shadows to be fully lifted, but don't you worry, I'll be fine. It's a big step forward for him to have addressed even a little bit of that persistent anxiety from his past. As we emerged from the door, we saw Otis facing away from us, her weapon drawn. Wait, I don't think she even followed us through the door. Were you here the entire time? Yes, I was told by that Allen figure that someone has to stay behind and watch the door during these operations. So I stayed and... Oh man, it's these asshats again. Weird, the corridor's not a place for those newbies to be roaming around on their own. As you can see, a few uninvited guests have decided to visit us through a different door. I looked past Otis just in time to see more Favis pouring into the corridor through a different back door. They must be trying to find a way to get the Ringfather's corridor. Well, we can't just let them through, can we? Kill them all. Alright, seems we got another fight
皆
now.
さん戦闘の準備を。
빠르게 처리하지.
단테 さんの作戦はとても効果的でした。
꿰뚫려라!
エリートオペレーターの身の腕前です。
As usual, this combat encounter should be fairly easy.
"敵は深手を負っています。
감상은 어떤가요?
아이씨, 짜증나게. 안 남았어도요. 이 정도쯤은 바이올렛 브레이크 슬램!
빠르게 처리하지. 자세가 무너졌네. 자비의 감사도.
예술적이네요.
これが必要な戦いであれば
감상은 어떤가요?
効果的な攻撃でした
훌륭한 반말이네요.
보여드려야겠군요. 외면의 예술을.
敵は深手を負っています
감상은 어떤가요?
자세가 무너졌니?
아이씨 짜증나게 항상 림버스 컴퍼니 저희
신체파의 예술을 보여줄 시간이란다.
また一つ学ばせていただきました
저희 뼈를 틀어 잡고 이제야 친해졌네요.
And there we go, another really easy combat encounter.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지 작품을 뜻하죠. 비록 지금 제 작품이 만인의 신금을 울리지는 못하더라도 여전히 반지에 부끄럽지 않은 작품을
Oh shit, index proselytes. I was not expecting that at all. Let's see, I know there's 14 stages. So here's what I do. I'm going to do 10, next we'll do 11 and 12, and then the final video will be 13 and 14.
시선, 집중.
부름이라면 기쁘게 나서죠. 부름이라면
드디어 내 차.
나를 점 찍었다니.
어떤 조직 놈들인지 면면 좀 받을까?
Once we dealt with the Fathus who invaded the Thumbner's father's destroyed corridor, we left for the indexes and ran into a few familiar faces waiting for us at our destination. Don't you guys have today off? Yeah, but I thought I might as well come along. It's, you know, you keep summoning us while we're in the middle of something, so I decided that it might actually be more convenient for us to be with you in person. Your summoning occurred at the most unideal moment. Now I know you weren't doing it on purpose, but all 3 times you summoned me, I was leaning over snacks topped with a bunch of whipped cream. Today I learned from that blacking out and waking up to a me-shaped incident and a cake I was about to chow down on doesn't make for a very relaxing break. Sorry for that. I should have checked in with you guys before summoning, but I'm still getting used to it. Okay, now you're being too sorry. No hard feelings here, you know. I'm just heading along because I need some exercise, that's all. I appreciate the additional employee assignment. Now if you could share any information you know about yet another corridor. I hung out here all the time, so I know this place a little. There was this super clingy, annoying little... No, that wasn't the mask dude. There was this other... Is there something you don't remember? Oh right, Kira probably doesn't remember Sora. Sora? I don't think that name rings any bells for us either. Is that someone who used to live here? Yeah, well, Sora was the Index apprentice, so she probably lived here. Forsooth, the Index apprentice. Pray tell, wherefore is it that the Middle, the Thumb, and the Ring each have apprentices, yet the Index and the Pinky lack them? It would indeed be quite odd if a mere 3 of the 5 fingers have an apprentice each. Retrace my recollections, yet I find it like following a trail of odorless air, invisible and unreal. No, there was someone, but I can't. The representations of the Pinky and the Index's apprentices are missing. No, to be more precise, a merciless blade has shredded and reduced them to intangible formlessness. How refreshing to hear that same impression from someone else rather than myself for once. As it seemed that I was the only one who remembered the 2 apprentices, I retraced back to our first meeting and briefly shared what I knew about Sora. She doesn't sound like a very forgettable character. While the Ariyashiki cut her into ribbons. That would explain why it feels as though I'm recalling a sequence of events with a critical part missing in between. I can almost imagine her, giggling to herself like a creepy loner, and she probably wears glasses too, right? Like one of those gloomy introverts from anime. I see, so that's why it feels like I'm tearing through each strand of a weave. Ryoshu? Let's say the world's made of strings or threads, clock. With each slash, the blade would be cutting through the flowing of strands that intertwine to compose one's existence. When an object is severed forever beyond repair, you'd think neither trace nor shape would be left of it. But now that you've pieced together some of it, it's almost... Instead of elaborating further, Ryoshu fell silent again, save for the sound of the tip of her cigarette turning to ash, like she was recalling another incomplete memory. But yet she's trying to avoid over-speculating on what she doesn't know for sure. Damn, that totally breaks the meta. I had a vague idea of how it works, but this is the first time I'm hearing the deets. I've had to go through 4 ramp-up stages and removed seals to, even make full use of the sword. Honestly, yours needs a trade-off. Your sword is totally power creeps Papa's. P.O., there's plenty already. So true. Guess slicing your memories away is one hell of a trade-off, sorry. Okay, so I'm guessing you don't have anything to contribute for this corridor. I've got one. I don't know where it leads with the Index I used it all the time. Hopefully it doesn't drop us into an army of Index. PPU, they rarely gather in big groups. She said that's pretty unlikely. Ah, what was that for, Ryoshu? Wait, did you just hit me with the sword handle? I didn't do anything, but I saw it. I saw Ryoshu's scabbard, Haria, suddenly jerking to the side, prodding Sinclair like it was annoyed by something. I won't STS, I'll SYNC until you can barely walk. I swear this wasn't a slander or whatever. Look, you poked me so hard it left a mark on my arm here. Well, I don't want to read too much into it, but the scabbard was rattling like it was irritated by something. Stop interpreting for her. This is why she won't stop making up those nonsense acronyms. He's making it worse. I gotta stop him from translating for her somehow. Aria? Wait, that voice just now, it sounded a lot like Aria's. Dante, you saw that too, right? Ryoshu didn't do anything. Wait, really? It really wasn't her? Nope. Then it's decided. To be fair to Sinclair, no one else but I saw in full detail how the scabbard came to be. Which means that he couldn't imagine in his wildest dreams that the scabbard poked him of its own volition. Doesn't seem like any of the sinners heard the voice either. Damn, you guys bully him a lot. Well, the lad's been long overdue for a little smack upside his noggin. We should head inside. Let's not keep Alan waiting. Kira directed us toward an almost undisturbingly normal wooden door, so featureless that I could have mistaken it for any of the dozens of doors we'd walked past in other nests. We were greeted by a whiff of stale, musty air the moment we walked through the door. I think this leads to a basement. and emerged to what appeared to be an almost dungeon-like basement area. Whenever the Mastodon's beeper rang, he'd walk through this door. So who are they? The Index. Signs of life. There were people living down here up until just a few hours ago. Why are you here, paper slips? We're only executing the prescripts. I've had it with these prescripts, though at least yours doesn't make any annoying beeps. The basement was stocked up with shelf-stable and non-perishable food, and the cells were all completely empty, save for what looked like a makeshift bathroom in each of them. It is likely that this dungeon was used to imprison individuals of varying features that may be required to complete a prescript. Seriously? This room seems to have been used for something worse than simple incarceration. Among Faust's conjectures is that the captives were conditioned, in body and mind, in various ways to match the prescript's likings. Sounds like that guy was just as crazy as the rest of them. Wait, that staircase right up there leads up. Let's check out what's... Freaking annoying, man. The heck are you doing? You cannot enter through this door. Oh, I see. Another griefer body blocking in the doorway. Move, I need to see something. The will of the prescript forbids you. You cannot enter through this door. What do we do? Is it worth forcing our way in there? They seem pretty adamant about not letting us in. I prefer if we stayed as far as possible from anything that has to do with the gods, prescripts, but nothing in this basement gives me any indication as to where the door connects to. Otis is right, we're gonna have to get upstairs somehow if we want to get an idea of where this door leads. If Rien's been using this basement, then I'd like to see what's upstairs. Honestly, learning that this door connects to the basement is more than enough intel to cross it off the list. So if this has anything to do with Ryoshu's memories... Alright then, let's push through. Executing your command, Executive Manager. The will of the prescript is absolute. Is it, though? That one was only 10 minutes, that was nice. I'm used to the 20-minute ones that just ramble on and on.
Limbus カンパニーの皆さんとご一緒できて本当に嬉しいです。
점 찍었네.
Alrighty, I think we should be able to get through this fairly easy. The Index are always actually fairly easy to handle. Their gimmick is very simple.
適した攻撃でなくとも最善の選択だったはずです。
気が利く。
効果的な攻撃です。
꿰뚫려라。
エリートオペレーター並みの腕前です。 아이씨, 짜증나게. 敵は深手を負っています。
어디에서도 볼 수 없을 색피로. 그 시선 경멸스럽군.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
이제야 완성되었나. 예술적이네요.
これが必要な戦いであれば。
어디에서도 볼 수 없을 색채로.
Feels weird to have another focused encounter after all the chain battles we've been going through.
행진했군. 이것이 서독의 피날레다. 왕의 비호를 하사한다.
아이씨, 짜증나게.
보여드려야겠군요. 외면의 예술을.
敵の調子が悪くなっているみたいです。
감상은 어떤가요?
아이씨, 짜증나게.
어중간한 예술은 물어뜯어 고칠 수밖에. 벗어날 수 있다고 생각해.
따스한 피 스며드는군.
따뜻한 피. 임파스터.
普通の皆さんの状態に
녹여서 썰어버려도 상관없지.
Okay, these are the last four, so this should be fairly easy.
감상은 어떤가요?
항상
これがリンバスカンパニーの
저희
戦闘
영감을 일깨워 주시는군요.
また一つ学ばせていただきました。
What's up there? You may speak to me casual, God damn it, come on. You may speak to me casual, Arya, but In the presence of the other apprentices, perhaps you should find it more preferable to mimic the tone of the DHUA star. Come on, it's not like I wanted to be DHUA star. Just let me do whatever I want while I'm here. Certainly, you have a point. So what's up there, up the stairs? I'm not sure myself, I've never been upstairs. Aren't you even a little curious? Why bother peeling back the heavens to see what is beyond? Those wanting of yearning needn't raise their heads skyward. Am I seeing Arya's memories? Flock, what did you see? I'm not sure, but now we got another reason to check what's upstairs.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지 작품을 뜻하죠. 비록 지금 제 작품이 만인의 심금을 울리지는 못하더라도.
Alright, well, that is where I'm going to end it for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!